And we are back, and we just finished My Best Friend's Exorcism, currently streaming on Amazon Prime. This film was released in 2022, just recently, just the other day, actually. Rated R with a runtime of 1 hour and 37 minutes. This is based on the Quirky Books novel by Grady Hendrix and is directed by Damon Thomas with a teleplay credit to Jenna Lamia. This is the story of best friends Abby and Gretchen. Abby is played by Elsie Fisher, and Gretchen is played by Amaya Miller, who back in the 80s are best of friends and also grappling with the landscape of being a teenager and separating since Gretchen's family is going to be moving shortly. In this, the girls also have two other friends, Glee, played by Kathy Ang, and Margaret, played by Rachel Ogechi Kanu.
Sorry.
Kanu. Sorry if I butchered your name.
That.
And one night are at Margaret's family's, I guess, weekend cabin and decide to mess around with a Ouija board. And then hostilities arise. Abby runs away because she's being made fun of, and Gretchen goes after her, and they go into this small abandoned building in the middle of the woods that is sort of like the phone box in Doctor Who. It's bigger on the inside than what it looks like on the outside. And then, as you say, hijinks ensue. Hijinks ensue. Gee, what did you think of the film?
I thought it was good.
It was good, right? It had a really good 80s vibe to it.
Yeah.
All the characters were believable and really well fleshed out, I thought. And yeah, I felt like the production values on this were decent.
Yeah, they were decent. There was nothing looked cheap.
Right. I mean, it is Amazon. They got cash.
I don't think this was really funded by the full power of Amazon's bank. This was
not like that Lord of the Rings show.
Yeah, this was low budget. It was low budget, but it didn't look terrible. You know,
it
looked
really
fine.
good.
It looked like something you'd see on television or
in the movies,
or even in the movies.
Yeah, but it definitely captured that whole 80s feel. I didn't read the books, and I hear that Grady Hendrix is a really good writer. You've read her.
Very much so.
Which book did you read?
I read, it was a few weeks ago. I don't know if I'm messing up the title, but A Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires.
Oh, okay.
Very good. Highly recommend. Go read it.
I mean, it's kind of an interesting story. Well, I mean, okay, so I think we've given if you see the trailer and the title alone,
if somebody's getting an exorcism, they're possessed by a demon. So so this is exactly what the hijinks were.
But it's interesting because you can make a lot of correlations with. I mean, yes, she's possessed, but they really grapple with a lot of issues with teenagers. They talk about eating disorders. They talk about, I guess, being one of the characters is sort of closeted, and
just your personal appearance.
Your personal appearance is a big thing, and this is all stuff that you deal with as a teenager,
and also growing up and separating.
Right, because
she's going to lose her
best friends.
Anna and Gretchen are best friends. And
Abby.
I'm sorry, Abby and Gretchen are best friends, and they're going to have to separate because Gretchen is moving away with her weird, super religious parents.
Family. Yes.
I hated her parents.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I believe in a higher power, but I don't feel like I need to jam that down somebody's throat.
Super religious people are rarely portrayed in a sort of sympathetic way in movies.
True.
They're usually portrayed as weird.
Yeah, and zealots, right?
And zealots. And seriously, the mom and dad, what was he? He was wearing the sweater wrapped around his shoulders, and the mom had that helmet hair of blonde hair.
That bothered me. I wanted to rip that off her head.
I thought that they were going to wind up dead at some point.
I wish they did.
I thought the demon was gonna go postal on them and just be like roar.
I mean, it makes sense. They were religious, but they were out of the house, right? They went on. Went to wherever the hell they were going.
Yeah, Vespers.
Yeah, I guess that's evening prayers or something. Yeah, there was a point in the film where I realized this isn't going to have any sort of lasting ramifications like death or mutilation or anything like that. This isn't that kind of movie.
No. I mean, I think it's Some of the scenes were a little tense. We watched it all together, but Olive excluded herself from the review. But it's one of those movies where it's like there are some kind of jump scary, intense moments, but for the most part, I feel like maybe.
It wasn't like the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, like
I gotta
maybe
be honest,
13 and up.
I don't recall any like jump scares, to be honest.
The whole like, when did Olive cover her eyes?
I don't know when she covered her eyes.
Oh, I'm trying to remember. There was 2 scenes where I think. Well, the thing with the worms.
Yes,
That was cool.
Freaked her out. That just completely freaked her out.
That was very cool.
That dog was the hero of the day.
The dog
there.
was the
seriously.
MVP in that scene. Yeah.
When Abby started yelling, her voice was, I would have been screaming
Yeah,
if I saw
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I bet if that dog hadn't run out of there with that freaking thing, no one would have come into the room.
Yeah. Well, she looked like death too. They did a good
Seriously.
Good job on making that kid look sick. Yeah.
Makeup and wardrobe, hands down, and like the goat here, because they did like really good work.
Yeah.
On all fronts.
It looked 80s.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And they kept the soundtrack 80s, which
Yes.
was nice. It's always aggravating when you see some sort of like
Throwback that has,
period piece, and then it's just like, well, nobody, that song didn't exist.
Yeah, it's like, was Kanye West around back in the in the 80s?
Keep it normal. I mean, in some comedies and stuff, like in medieval times, they'll throw in a modern song, and it's like, okay, if it's a comedy, all right, but then like sometimes you have like a serious thing, and there's like some sort of like wailing electric guitar solo.
Yeah,
and
it's
just like
this.
What is going on? That never happened during the Crusades.
Yeah, hire what's his name, Trenton Atticus. They'll do up your soundtrack good. But I mean, did you have a favorite character in this, G?
I mean, probably Abby, even though there are some points, like when that guy's doing the exorcism, she's telling him to stop.
She annoyed me with that.
Yeah.
It's like, listen,
you should know.
Yeah.
Like, if she wasn't possessed, she wouldn't be like poisoning your friends.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just salt. He's just chucking salt.
Exactly.
If she wasn't possessed, it wouldn't be hurting her.
Exactly.
She wouldn't be screaming like that.
Yeah. So,
Although he overreacted with the boiling water.
Yeah, that was a little overboard.
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I think just holy water would suffice. I don't think he needed to boil it.
Yeah.
That could have hurt her very badly.
He probably could have killed her. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even it was this metal kettle. It was that thing would have hurt.
Probably burned the flesh off her. Did you have a favorite scene in this?
Honestly, probably the scene with the tapeworm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's very much reminded me of the book, the Southern Book Club. Like there'd be scenes where I could picture and it'd be so gross, just like that.
Just like that. Nice. What about you? What do you think?
I thought it was okay.
I mean, it's fun.
You know what the problem? Like one of the problems I had with it is it's listed as a horror comedy, and it wasn't funny at all. There wasn't any comedy.
Yeah, it wasn't
there.
really.
In fact,
Not really.
Yeah, there
only
wasn't
thing-
anything funny.
the only thing it was like they were making a horror movie, and then they brought in the goofy Lemon Brother.
Sure.
yeah,
guy.
I didn't like
And
him.
he, I guess because he was in it, they're labeling it as comedy, but he's a bit out of place. He is a sort of very off the wall character, very goofy, and I gotta be honest, he seemed totally out of place for the rest of the movie. I could see bringing in because those guys are based. I doubt anybody knows this, and I only know this because of the amazing
Texas Ranger.
Walker Texas Ranger. But there legitimately was a group of guys who would go around to schools and churches and
Motivationally speak.
do motivational speaking while smashing cinder blocks over their heads and lifting huge amounts of weights and breaking out of handcuffs. They were called the Power Team. And it's probably the most ridiculous. And while they're doing it, they're just screaming about, I'm doing this because I love you and I love Jesus. And then they would just snap chains and things like that.
Yeah.
That's what these 3 dudes are based on. And I could see bringing in, obviously they don't want to go with the traditional Father Karras type of exorcist. So they brought in this Power Team knockoff guy. But it was and that could lead to some humor, but you could have also I guess, not made it that over the top. Like this guy was
super goof.
He was a super goof. Yeah. He was like a himbo.
Yeah. With that mullet.
Doing the whatever the hell that hand signal is.
Yeah. That all the bros do.
Yeah. He was a bit over the top, and
I thought, you know what? It's funny that you said that. So, like, a couple of things. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You finish your statement because
just that, like I said, tonally speaking, he didn't quite fit the rest of the film. Like, I could see this being like horror with
drama,
a bit of a lighthearted sort of 80s type humor with like the girls teasing each other and just the 80s. Let's be honest, the 80s were ridiculous.
They're making a comeback in a lot of media. Thank you, Stranger Things.
When you're setting stuff in the 80s, there's a lot of stuff that you sort of chuckle at.
Yeah.
The terrible hair, the bizarre clothing, all of it.
How dare you? It wasn't bizarre. Yeah. It wasn't bizarre. How dare you?
Let's be real. I don't think you needed to go as broad with this guy. I mean, yeah, the 80s was, I'm sure, the power team's time to shine. He just felt a bit out of place, and then he just sort of leaves.
Yeah, I did not like that at all.
Yeah, that was nuts. He was just like, later for you.
Yeah, he was so like psyched and happy that it really is a demon, and then it was just like gone.
Yeah,
that annoyed the crap. Yeah, he shouldn't have been in there. Like I agree with that. They should have taken him out, just listed it as horror, and gotten someone more serious to play his part.
Yeah,
or go harder into the horror, sort of like a Nightmare on Elm Street kind of thing.
They could have done, they could have done that. I mean, then you have like the lasting ramifications because if you're going that route, people are getting killed and dying horribly.
Sure.
I don't know if they wanted to go that far. I get the feeling that they were trying to like keep it in the realm of light teen horror. Sort of stuff.
I wouldn't have minded seeing Margaret die.
Margaret was the worm girl, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
she was nasty.
She was actually,
but I would say of all the fates, she probably had the worst one. Mm-hmm. She really got, the demon really got to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As far as if they would have, I think it would have been better if the power team guy like got rendered unconscious and was just like passed out rather than him just, bailing. It just seemed sort of like, okay, we don't really have anything else to do with this comedy character. Yeah. We want to get back to the more serious stuff.
And it also would fit with the whole, like, I'm trying to prove myself, right?
Yeah, it would also
instead of him running.
I think it would be great if, like, the big muscle guy who knows all about the demons and what ranks they are in hell and all the expert just gets his ass kicked by the teenage girl possessed by a demon. And then the other teenage girl has to sort of rescue her friend because she has something that the big muscle dude doesn't have. She has an actual emotional connection
to
Gretchen.
Right. Well, so my thing was, for some reason, even though that was that scene where the Lemon brothers are doing their little stunt and you see Christian looking at Gretchen.
Yeah, you see.
I didn't think that they were going to play a part. For some reason, I thought Brother Morgan was going to be maybe I don't want to say knight in shining armor, but kind of like the guide into the final battle with this demon because he's tied to the religious school, whatever. And then it was weird because didn't she say she was Jewish? And I'm like, so why are you going to a Catholic school?
Yeah, that was a bit strange.
I was like,
maybe it's like prestigious or something. Like she was there on a scholarship.
I guess, but still, it's like,
why not go to like a different private
that
school?
makes sense because it's like the mother was a nurse, right? So how does she afford to send her kid to like Catholic school, which you have to pay for?
I gotta be honest, it was the 80s, so they would not make allowances. Be like, okay, you could be exempt from the whole Jesus thing. Mm-hmm. But then again, if it's a religious school, usually there's the requirement that you have to be Catholic to be here.
I went to Catholic school. There weren't any Jewish kids there.
Yeah, I don't see any like Catholic kids going.
All the Jewish kids went to public school
because it's just a good school.
Yeah, and the Catholic schools certainly don't give off on the Jewish holidays. So,
yeah,
if you believe that, Catholic schools like, oh well, you got to go to You gotta go to school.
Yeah, that was a little. Yeah. And now that I think about it, that was maybe that was just like a throwaway line. It's for
I don't know.
For
I don't know.
Purposes that they didn't really think through.
Yeah, maybe. But I thought that felt very out of place. And then just the whole. I thought Brother Morgan was gonna have a bigger role to play.
He could have, but I think I guess they were trying to get some sort of comedy in there, which is why they brought out the Lemon Brothers dudes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, whoever did
it didn't feel like it was thought through 100%.
Possibly, at least story wise, right? Or there's some of the stuff should have been fleshed out a little bit better, but the art department, costuming, makeup, bang up job. I mean, the Gap logo.
Yeah, they
old
got a
Chess King. Yeah.
I'm guessing there must be some sort of like ancient mall out there that has all these old stores that it's just like, hey, it's the 80s.
You think it's an actual mall? I was like, that's a soundstage.
Let's just clean this place up. That was a Chess King. You were right. It had like the proper logo and signage and all that. And it's not like as though Chess King was like this
a big brand,
this huge brand.
Yeah,
it was like there was one on Kings Highway and Kings Plaza and
86th Street in Bay Ridge.
Yeah, and I didn't realize it was anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, certainly not in the Midwest somewhere because it felt like this was the Midwest. I don't remember if they ever said a state, but
yeah, I don't know either. I wonder if the book has the power team and all that stuff in there.
Yeah, I'd be curious now. I might have to invest in that. You'll have to read it, Jay, and let me know. But I mean, for a light teen horror, I think this really works. There's suggested
this isn't
sexual.
Gonna give anybody nightmares.
Yeah, there's suggested sexual content. There's dark kind of situations.
I'd say for the sexual content, it's more like rude humor.
Yeah.
Nobody's like nobody's taking their top off or anything.
You don't see any boobs or
not that.
Nobody gets naked.
It's not a real 80s movie.
I think I think maybe there's kissing between is it Michelle?
It is
Margaret
and her boyfriend
Wallace.
I think there's some kiss in there.
Yes, they do make out.
Yeah. But
like
there's
twice?
no
something like that.
Yeah, nobody's having sex.
Well, it's implied that they're having sex, but you don't see it.
Oh yeah, no.
Right, but I'm just talking about visual like if somebody is worried, I don't want my kids seeing that or something like that, or if that's just like, that's a deal breaker for me. I don't care about that in movies. It's not really there.
It's quick. Yeah.
It's like I said, it's any sort of sexual content is relegated to just like rude humor, like rubbing your nub or something like that.
Oh my God. That scene was so cringy. Oh, I can't believe you reminded me. I had already blocked that from my synapses. Jesus.
Poor Abby.
I was so upset.
Poor Abby.
Everyone heard that.
Oh, even Brother Morgan.
The demon's going to go there.
Yeah.
Evil.
Demon Any other notes?
Freaking evil too. Ugly.
No, that's it. That's really it. There's not really much to deep dive on this. Like I said, light teen horror. The humor, like I said, felt a bit out of place.
Yeah.
Mainly just because the humor was relegated almost entirely to the Lemon Brothers and mainly Christian Lemon.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was like really goofy.
For sure.
Like
beyond.
Like out of place goofy.
Yeah.
I
was like, this guy's roided up.
We grew up in the 80s. We had goofy friends.
Yeah.
But this guy was like
next level. Yeah.
He was like a cartoon character.
Yeah. Yeah. He was definitely exaggerated. Without giving too much away, Gigi, what'd you think at the end? Do you think it's over?
No.
What do you think?
Not really, because they showed the little owl there at the end. Apparently owls were a symbol. The owls don't do anything. They're just there. It's sort of like
but it's a running motif.
It's sort of like oranges in The Godfather. They're there and they symbolize something.
What?
That's actually a thing. I didn't know that. Your dad told me about it.
Oranges.
Would you recommend this?
To like people my age, probably not. I would say this is more for kids. No, I wouldn't say kids. I would say
teens.
Yeah, I would say it's more.
That's a huge market. I didn't realize.
Yeah,
it is a huge market.
Kids, their parents
disposable income,
dumping their money. Yeah. Kids go out and have some fun.
Yeah. Gee, 1 to 10. What'd you give this film?
Maybe like a 7 or 8. I really like the author.
Yeah, 7 or 8. I too would give this a 7. I think from where it starts to where it ends, I agree with you. I think they could have gone harder in certain things, and I think they could have lost like the whole comedic label and like maybe make it just a twinge more like scary. But I think on the whole, I think the production values are really, really good. Again, the costuming was magnifique. The makeup was really well done. Whoever did the art direction like did phenomenal work because it felt 80s without looking 80s.
Yeah.
Meaning obviously better film or video stock here, right?
I'd probably give it a 6.
6? Okay, fair enough.
It was okay.
So, yeah, I mean, if you're looking for some new content in the month of October, I think this is a fun, safe bet. Definitely not for anyone under 12, 13 maybe. 13 and up might be a good age for this, I think.
I don't know. I mean, Olive was fine throughout the whole. It wasn't like there were, like the thing that like gets to her is the antentation. Like when they start building up something, it's like something scary is going to happen. Something's going to jump out.
I'm going to hide behind my tablet.
I'm going to hide behind my thing. This really didn't have a lot of that.
No,
hardly any.
No.
Like it wasn't like Drag Me to Hell. It's like tense.
Yeah,
and they get you.
Gross. Yeah.
This was. It was like Goosebumps.
Yes, but
like,
better looking.
Yeah, Goosebumps with a bit more
cash,
rude humor.
With rude humor, yes. Not to get off on a tangent. Avoid Rob Zombie's The Munsters.
Oh my god.
But we didn't watch the whole thing. We couldn't.
we couldn't get through it. And I like Rob Zombie, but oh my god.
Yeah.
What in the hell?
I love and admire his work ethic, and I'm a fan of his music, but
don't make movies anymore.
Movies, man.
Seriously.
You're not good at it.
Oh god. That was painful.
You know what? He was going for a specific style. He wanted to ape that. He basically just made
like a long episode of
the Munsters in color.
Yeah. Ugh,
maybe gosh. One day we'll
finish the
whole thing and
like we're gonna finish Annette.
That was
terrible. The fuck.
All right, we're going off on some tangents here.
Was there something else we kind of tried to watch today that we were like, this is garbage?
Well, you were watching that Modern Persuasion
film,
movie, which
yeah.
is like
I finished that, although it was like 3 weeks later.
Yeah, that's.
I love trash TV movies.
Missed opportunity for that lady not to say, for he is the Quizoxidaric.
She should have.
Why do you like Ben so much? For he is the Quizoxidaric.
That was the little girl in Dune, the one who's luxuriating in the
Carnage.
Yeah.
She says that right at the end of the movie when Paul makes it rain. Yep. Starts throwing
That's what I thought you meant. I don't know.
Throwing dollar bills at everybody, and she's just like luxuriating.
Okay, so if in the month of All Hallows Eve you'd like to go see something kind of scary but not, good bet is Amazon Prime's adaptation of Grady Hendrix' quirky books novel of My Best Friend's Exorcism, currently streaming on Prime. Go check it out. Stay away from the monsters. And that's it from us, and we will bid you all a
good night.
Good night.
Good night.